One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's start with the breaking news. Defender Sam Stubbs on loan from Middlesbrough. Tell us a bit about him and what can he do for you?
Hopefully defend. He's big, strong lad, very athletic. Obviously, he's been brought up very well in the football world, and he's the thing that appealed to me the most about him. You know, when you look at players we've brought in and positions you'd probably want more experience in. You'd probably look at your goalkeeper and your two centre halves and say that's where you'd probably want experience. And obviously we've signed Ben Barkley, Ryan Schofield and Sam Stubbs, so I've gone the opposite to that. But the particular thing with Sam Stubbs is that he's actually an unbelievable talker. He plays like a 25, 26-year-old. Obviously has been taught a hell of a lot of things by the old man in the past, and he's 6'3", very, very good defender, athletic, and I hope he's the sort of player that can help command the back four.
Is this a sort of player you need? You mentioned the word talker. To get yourself out of the situation, do you need those players that are going to lead on the pitch then?
We need everything. we need pace in the way we attack. We need know-how in our midfield, and like you say, we need defenders with qualities and make sure that they do their jobs properly and keep the ball out of the back of the net. So that's the intention, and we need to win a lot of games.
You say about needing everything. You need goals clearly, but you've kind of rectified that with a guy that knows how to score goals. What are you expecting from Craig McCall-Smith?
I think I talked before about trying to get the balance right of the age of some of the players that we're bringing in. So we've tried not to go all at 19 and 20. We've tried to add in a 31-year-old, a 35-year-old, or 34-year-old, that kind of player as well. So we brought in a 24-year-old at a good age. So we've tried to get the balance right in the positions, just that little bit more know-how. So with Craig McCall-Smith, he's going to come in. He knows the league. He scored goals at the league. He can play, up. He can play off the side. He's got energy that makes me feel tired when I watch him, and he's still got that, and he's still got that yard of pace, and he will not stop running. So we looked at the qualities we've got up front, and we looked at the qualities we wanted to bring in, and he fitted the mould perfect.
The other one you've signed is Mitch Rose. I think it was an 18-month deal. So is that more of a longer-term project for you?
Yeah, Mitch can play a number of positions, and if I said to you in a transfer window when we knew we would probably get up to our quota in loans, we needed to try and find a permanent or two. So to get Jim O'Brien over the line in that respect, and then Mitch Rose over the line, who can play full-back, can play centre mid. He's slightly different to everything we've got, very athletic. So to get these players in has been hard, and to get them in particularly with Mitch at a good age, at the age of 24, it was a plus for us.
Have you found it harder because you're bottom of League Two? Have people turned you down because of that?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. You look at the position, and sometimes we've aimed really high. We haven't gone. We've gone high with a lot of our attempts, and people rightly so. They say, "Oh, I think I should be in the league above," or "I believe I should be." I've got an offer from a team at the top, so you know that sometimes you're going to lose some of them battles, but the ones that have come here, the one thing that all of them are up for is the fight.
The chairman put the club up for sale this week, so how relieved were you to have those plans to be able to move forward? Because I guess he could have said, well, the money's out now, I'm selling, but you must be very grateful that he's going to honour deals and let the club move forward at this moment in time.
To be honest with you, it's actually the opposite. He's not that I'm not driven to do it myself, but he's been driving me to do it. So, get these players in, nothing changes. Let's make sure we keep this club up. He hasn't, taken away the bridge. He's kept driving and saying, let's make sure we get this window right. Let's have a fight. Let's make sure we do this. And for somebody who said he's put the club up for sale, he's then putting his money behind making sure we retain our status. He's been incredible.
With the club going up for sale on Sunday, has that been in any way affecting yourself or the squad, or did your players just kind of take no notice and just get on with things?
No, I mean, listen, of course it's in the back of my mind as manager of the football club, but I've got a job to do, and it hasn't changed that job. That job is to retain our status in the league, and we've got to go on get some momentum going and go on a run. So that's all I'm focused on. Anything that happens outside of the training pitch and that, from now on, the beauty of from now on, from 11 o'clock tonight, I can actually focus on the team and not chase my own shadow trying to get the recruitment right.
Couldn't be tougher for you because your next 3 games, I think it's 3 of the top 4, Lincoln, Forest Green and Mansfield, but in many ways I guess that's kind of something to look forward to. You're going to pit yourself against the best in troubled times. You must be looking forward to these really, really big games. Yeah,
anyone can beat anyone in this league, I think more so than the Premier League, so if you're at it, you can give anyone a good game, and we did that against Bury, one of the better teams in the league, and I believe we can do it against any team, and especially if with the work we're doing in the window to strengthen the squad. So Lincoln are a very, very good team. Bring it on, let's have a right go at it, and if not, we move to the next game.
And do you think, these new players will just breathe fresh life, won't they, into the squad?
Well, they do anyway. Anytime a player arrives, already today the atmosphere was slightly different at training. 2 new signings coming in, so that gave the place a lift. Tomorrow will be the same, and going forward, you've got people who are at the club. A lot of people now are at the club who haven't been sort of bogged down a little bit by the negativity of how it's gone up till now, and we do a fresh start, and it's time. Really now we've tried to be competitive over Christmas. We've had our injuries, we've had different things, but it's time to try our best now. Throw the shackles off. We need to win games, and if we lose games trying to win them, it's going to happen.
Just touch on the crazy gang and Wimbledon, if you just bear with me, see where I'm going. That's obviously what Wimbledon were known for. You're now the underdogs with the situation that you're in, Notts County. Is it time to sort of instill some of that crazy gang spirit in the club?
I think the difficult thing with the crazy gang spirit was you wouldn't get away with it in today's world. But what we've got to do is make sure we try and play to our strengths. I certainly haven't had Enzio, Kane, Louis Alessandro, players like that to work with for hardly any of my time here. And straight away you mention 2 or 3 of them names and you see pace, 1v1 domination, things that we've perhaps lacked to be able to build the team around in the past, and that's what we want to do now. So we had this, whether it's fortunate or not, this 2-week break to get these players and try and get them up to speed, and then bring in more players with a little bit more zip and pace and add that freshness to the team. Hopefully now we can have a go at using their strengths to our advantage. We're not a big, powerful team. We're going to have to be braver. We're going to have to use that energy and that speed that these players bring, and we're going to have to try and use it to win a lot of games.
Do you believe you can do it? And more importantly, do you think the players believe that they can still get out of it?
Absolutely. And I think by the time we finish tomorrow's training session, with all the new signings and stuff, I think that everyone will have a sense of optimism.
Thank you. Good luck.
Hello, mate. I know what time is it now? 2:30? I know you brought Sam in. How far are you with other signings? Do you plan to bring any more in?
Hopefully there'll be. I'm preparing that I'm going to be here till late afternoon to try and hopefully get 1, maybe 2 over the line more.
There's been some suggestion up in Humberside that Christian Dennis is wanted by Grimsby. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
That's true. Christian is wanted. He was wanted by a few clubs, as you can imagine, for a goal scorer. We had conversations with Christian's agent where our stance was, look, we don't want him to go, and by any stretch of the imagination. But if he's going to get frustrated, because we're going to have more forward and more attacking options, if he's going to get frustrated if he's not playing every week and unhappy, then you can explore them opportunities as well. So as that stands,
been confirmed,
that has been
confirmed.
Yeah, so that has been confirmed. I knew it was in the pipeline, but I didn't know it had been confirmed. So as that stands now, that looks like it's gone ahead.
And Branislav Pindrop, just gives the reasoning behind that.
So Bran. Bram wanted to play. We looked at trying to loan him out round here locally. Nothing came through. He had an offer that was an hour from where he originally was from. He was really, really keen on the move. He wanted to get back there and get playing. We had a discussion and we said, look, once again, if wasn't a case of balancing the books. It was more a case of, look, you don't want players moping about because you've stopped them getting on with their career. If we're gonna do what we need to do, we need as much as we can a camp of players who are all at it.
And there was also just to talk about Virgil Gomes yesterday. Is there anything in that at all?
Yeah, there is. And again, one of them players I'm trying to sort things out for this afternoon. So it's one of them. Watch this space. I've been in dialogue with Gary Brazil. So again, when we looked at the qualities we wanted to add to our attack, there's two things that you look for. One was, is there a big man, a target man, a physical presence? The other was, can we get more pace, athleticism into the attack? There's not many of the big physical ones about that A would want to come, or B that we could attract or see even out there. So we went hard on the athleticism and the pace and said let's try and bring that angle. And Virgil's one of them players that has got that, and hopefully we can get that one over the line.
How satisfied are you with the business that you've done, considering the position? Because on the outside it actually looks like a very solid window.
I can answer that if you want to give me a call at 11:05 tonight. At 11:05 tonight, I might be extremely satisfied. But at this precise moment, there's obviously two deals that aren't quite over the line yet.
I know one of them might be Gomes. What would be the other position? What do you not want to say?
Yeah, I don't really want to say, because in case it backfires and everyone realises I didn't get the player in I wanted. But the other position I'm going for is the player I'm trying to get will bring a lot more than just what happens on a football pitch. Right,
that's a good answer. In terms of Lincoln this weekend, top of the league, probably the best set piece team in the division, catching. And I wondered how about you've gone about preparing for that this weekend.
What, the best set piece team versus the worst set piece team? That's what we're trying to.
Yeah, I didn't really want to say. Yeah.
To be fair, we've focused on how we're trying to play. We focused on trying to play to our players' strengths. If we're going to make things happen and score goals, we're going to have to play a certain way and to our players' strengths. So we focused a lot on that for 2 weeks, obviously, as well as fitness. And then the back end of this week, we've now started to work hard on set pieces. And listen, Lincoln are a big, strong team, and I think they're unfairly tarred with a brush of being a very direct team, because I don't think they are. I think he's really evolved things there. The Cowleys have really done well. They've evolved it, and they've got a lot more technically gifted players. They play a lot more football, but as you say, they're a big threat from set pieces. I know from my time at Wimbledon how good Keon Bolger is in the air. He's a threat if he's fit, but they've also got Shackle, Akindi, Bostwick, many others. So we've just got to, and we've done loads of work with the players. The players have got to step up, and they've got to take responsibility for their set pieces, defending them, not losing markers, because it can be the difference between winning 3 or 4 games if you get them right.
Since you've brought those players in, have you noticed a difference in the mentality of the squad when you've had fresh faces in through the door? Yeah,
so it gives everything a lift straight away, and straight away the players will do 1 or 2 things that the others will. Okay, good, I like that, and it's happened, throughout all of them coming in. Probably the one of the biggest sort of signings we've made as far as influence on the training field is Jim O'Brien. You just hear him constantly. He talks total sense on the pitch. He demands from people, and that's what we wanted him for. Add a little bit of pace to this group and a bit of freshness and players who haven't hopefully had the fear of the situation before, and it might give everyone else around them, the lads who are working to try and build their confidence, a lift.
In terms of the players' fitness, the NZO, Matt Tootle, Kane Hemmings, what's the latest with their situation?
They've all trained. They've all trained for at least sort of 10 days now, I would have thought, since the last time. Kane's an ongoing one where Kane's problems come from overuse. So Kane's will be a situation where we need to probably manage him now for the last sort of 12 weeks of the season, and how we can keep him or get his fitness levels where they need to be, but also keep him fresh enough and for the game. So he'll be ongoing, but they've all trained, and the question I'm going to have is, do I put players that are all slightly short and building up their fitness on the pitch at the same time, or do I pick and choose which ones I think are ready?
Brilliant, mate. That's
Jake. Sorry for go over a couple of bits
No problem.
that we've already been through, but of course Sam Stubbs has just been announced. What does he bring to Meadow Lane?
Well, he brings strength into a position that we needed strength. We felt he's the lad's 6'3". He's 20, but in my opinion and Cox's opinion, from the games we've watched of him, he plays like a 25-year-old, 26-year-old. Good talker, understands, gets people around him doing their jobs. So the sort of age barrier you can sign a 32-year-old and think we've gone for experience, who doesn't talk, who doesn't do that sort of thing. So, age is a number, but also that athleticism that you want, that we've got from a young lad. And it, people may see it as a risk that we've got a young goalie and young centre backs in, and Pierce Bird's another young one. But it's just if they're the best players that you can get to your club that you think are going to make the difference, you have to go for them.
What difference can that communication bring to the heart of the defence?
Well, we've done loads of work on it, and it's great for me. I've got Chetts and Coxey, both played Premier League, right back, centre back, left back. They've both played in these positions, so they know what to expect and what to coach with their back four. So they've done loads of work on that, and they'll continue to do it. But obviously, the longer these guys play together, not just training today and tomorrow, the better they'll get. So my decision again: do I throw people in on after one day's training, or do I give them a full week's training? And that's what I'm paid for, I think. I'll ask somebody else's advice and see what they think. But and we just got to try and take the shackles off, do stuff that wins games of football, and like you say, with the attacking players that we've brought in, or we're back from injury, we're hoping we'll be a little bit more potent.
And speaking of that attacking influence, of course, you brought in the Vice experience, Craig Smith on loan. What's the thinking behind that?
Like I said, we just you either go for a sort of target man, or you go for a bit more pace. I looked at what we had with Steady, with Deno, and obviously Kane, and that's been injured. But we just we felt that we needed a bit more pace in the attack. We looked at target men. We looked to see if there's anything there, but there was nothing really that we could attract or was out there that was good enough, we thought, to come in. So we went really we said, right, well, let's go for a pace in attack, and let's go for a couple of players who can, if possible, play in numerous different positions across the attack. So whether you had a 3 up there, a 2 up there, a number 10, whatever, we feel that we've got options to start players in different positions and have players coming off the bench to make a difference.
You've got Mitch Rose in the past couple of days as well. He's quite a versatile player, isn't he?
Yeah, Mitch can play. He can be a very combative centre midfielder, very athletic, puts himself about in the midfield. He can play fullback and get up and down and play from fullback. So it just gives us options, because although at the end of this window we could have brought in quite a few players and done good business, you can never have enough that can play a couple of different positions, because we couldn't bring in enough to sort of cover everywhere. And ultimately, we just sort of had a look at, maybe if he comes in, he can play here and here, he can play here and here, and it just gives you all the options going forward for the last 17 games.
Of course, Christian Dennis has joined Grimsby on loan for the rest of the season. What can you tell us about that, and what's your feeling towards that?
He wasn't one that we really wanted to go, or we wanted to force out. Christian's renowned for scoring goals. He was, I think, concerned when we were bringing in strikers that his playing time. We had the conversation, said, look, we can't guarantee the playing time. I do think Christian's probably best. You'll get the best out of him if you played him with a target man, where he can feed off big man, little man. We probably haven't got that, so you're probably not going to get totally the best that you need out of him. But having said that, he wants to play football, and that decision's come from him and his agent that if that option was there, they'd like to explore it.
And you're hopeful that 1 or 2 more deals might be finalised this afternoon as well?
Yes, hopefully. That's why it's good deadline day. We can order in some pizzas and settle up. It's a bit cold in the office at the moment, but we can settle up and get ready for. I've had a couple. My first one at Wimbledon was a 5 to 11 job, getting over the line in my first ever window, and this one's every bit as important as that one was. So, if we manage to get the 2 in that we haven't been able to confirm just yet, then I'll be an extremely happy man.
One that has been mentioned is Virgil Gomez from Forest. What would he bring to Notts if you were successful to sign him?
Pace, goals, some flair. Play predominantly as a 9, but can play off sides as well. Again, I've spoke in depth with Gary Brazil, watched, and we feel like I think he scored 23 goals for their 23s last season. He's had a brief loan spell, albeit in a tough environment down at Braintree. We just feel that he'll, we've gone 34 with Craig McKell-Smith, and then a younger lad, and we just feel alongside Steady, Kane Emmons, we feel we've got the balance as good as we can get it.
Of course, you say that there are a couple still in the pipeline. As it stands, how happy are you with your squad?
As it stands, I'm very happy with the work we've done, both in and out. The one thing that Alan's been brilliant with me, he's driven and pushed for us to get the transfer window right, and he hasn't held back. But on the flip side, he might not have been used to this, but I've worked very, very hard the other way as well to try and balance the books, and we've come very close to balancing the books, and hopefully at the end of it having a much better squad.
Do you feel now, of course this is your first transfer window here at Notts, do you feel you've now put a bit more of your own stamp and style on the squad?
I feel like, I think it's different when you get to a summer window and you're starting a season and you're not, points behind everyone else. I think then you can really, try and look for your vision and the way you want to do things. I think for now I've done the best transfer window that we possibly could do to give us a chance of retaining our status in the league, and sometimes that's more important than putting a Neil Ardley. It's not about Neil Ardley and his stamp and the way he wants to play or anything. It's about bringing in players that we feel can get us the points we need.
And I've also, I think I read somewhere, I can't remember if it was this week or last week, you've been putting on double training sessions for the guys. Is that something that's still happening? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the boys are in this afternoon here at the ground doing gym work. What we've done is with facilities and logistics, we're just trying to work out the best way to get all the lads gym work in as well. It's hard because we've got so many players at the moment, and we're trying to work out the best way of keeping a sort of tighter knit squad together to take us through the last 17 games, but making sure that we get the development into the young lads. Everyone gets the fitness side, everyone gets their gym work, their core work. So, that's where all the extra sessions have come in. But this week, obviously, we've had to train on 3G all week, really. The pitches have been frozen. So you then have to be very mindful that you don't get to the end of the week with a lot of sore joints and bodies from training on that all week. So it's always a balancing act, spinning plates.
Of course, Lincoln on Saturday is going to be some atmosphere at Meadow Lane, isn't it?
It will be. I've only played against them once at Wimbledon in the FA Cup. I'll take that scoreline. We won 1-0, so I'll take that one on Saturday. But their fans were incredible that day. Came down to Kingsmeadow and were brilliant. And obviously, having watched a lot of their games over the last 5 or 6 weeks, their fans are great. If our fans can come out and have real positivity after the window and the break, it should be really, really exciting.
What kind of game are you expecting?
Really, really hard one. Again, I say this before, but this more than ever, this is important now. I can't focus on just trying to set us up to stop the opposition and worry about their threats. I have to focus. If we're going to win the games we want to win, we have to be very good at what we do, and we have to say, if we're brilliant at this, we're going to be difficult to play against. And that's my focus. That's what I've tried to do. And obviously, once they cross that white line on Saturday, I keep my fingers crossed that everything we've worked on, they start to show.
And of course, a lot's happened behind the scenes in the past few days. Have you found it difficult to stay focused at all, or is it just a case of getting on with your job?
I've got on with my job. I'm fine with it. It's obviously a very, very difficult time for Alan with what he's had to do. I had a conversation with him before it all happened, and like I say, he's been nothing but brilliant. Despite what he's been through and what he's going through, all he said to me is, let's get this window right, let's make sure we finish this season, let's do what we need to do. So for somebody who's planning on selling the club, I think that speaks an awful lot of volumes for the man.
Did it come as a little bit of a shock to yourself?
Of course, I can't presume to think that I knew it was coming. It was just, I thought no game the weekend, nothing would happen and no one would talk. But it's, like I say, we move on now and football's the focus, and hopefully it'll be an exciting atmosphere, and we can start our process on Saturday of what we need to do.
Wish you best luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a couple of quick questions for you. The fact that where the club is in position-wise, you've got players of the calibre of Cale Smith coming. What do you think that says about you and your ability to sort of do deals, but also the club and Notts County and the reputation that it has, that people are still willing to come despite the club's position?
Yeah, I think generally one of the things when you have most conversations with other managers and with players, the first thing they say is big club. That's the reputation it's got, big club. So I think the club is an attraction in itself. I think players that the players that we might have been looking at in the first place, come what summer, on an even keel would probably be very, very interested. I think some got a little bit wary of the position and what was going on, and in many ways you look and go, well, maybe they weren't right for where we are, because the one thing I say now is the players that are coming have come in, seen where we are and said, come on, let's do this, because I think they can all be heroes. I really do. I think come what may, they can all be absolute heroes and play a massive part in it, and they seem to be, everyone that we've signed seems to be right up for that.
You can imagine, obviously, given the club's sort of league position, playing top of the league, there might be an element of kind of blimey, quite daunting playing, Lincoln in the form that they're in at the moment. Is there an element of you fact that think it's a perfect opportunity for your squad to properly throw a spanner in the works there, cause a real upset? Yeah,
I think there's a fine line between respecting the opposition and how good they can be, and giving them too much respect. And our job is to say, Danny's done an unbelievable job. They've signed some great players. They've put together a really good team, and it's going to be tough. So that's the first thing, and we need to get every facet of our game right, because Lincoln don't just win games because they're all right. They win games because they know how to, and they're very good. We've got to make sure we bring our A game. If we're not 100% on Saturday, if we're not brave, if we don't take responsibility, if we don't defend like we talked about set pieces brilliantly, then we're going to get nothing from the game. But I think the atmosphere will be brilliant, and anything we do in this game, anything we take from this game, is going to be a real positive.